Okay, looking at options, I finally have things where I want them and am now running out of cash. I can post more info soon. Post comments down below if you're interested. Thanks for checking this out, and stay tuned for the next video.
Hello and welcome to, Carlin's Worlds. Yeah, that should work. I'm a wanderer, a tinkerer, sometimes a nomad, a military veteran. I do things differently. There will be tinkering. I have a motorcycle, a truck, and a school bus. I live off-grid, so there will be some solar, batteries, inverters, and maybe even some wind. It blows. And that's all I can fit into about 30 seconds. Oh, and please, if you like any of this, it would be really awesome if you could subscribe and click that notify bell. Drop a comment if you have any questions or ideas. Share, like, comment, subscribe, notify. Oh, and Patreon if you're really an awesome kind of person. Cool. On with the show already.
Now this started off, I was not quite serious. I'm not sure which way I wanted to go with it, but then I kind of started thinking about it again. The 20 acres that I live on, I own. I paid that off already. The other 3 parcels are 20 acres each, approximately. The way it was the description, it was surveyed at approximately 20 acres. I can go into more description of the land later if somebody is actually interested. But what I'm looking at is, with no income, I don't need the dead weight around me of a land payment right now. I'm going to talk about numbers in a little bit, but what I realize, I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, if I keep the 20 acres that I'm living on, I could sell the other 60 and not really miss it. Okay, so because I've been making payments for a while, it's down to the point that if you were interested, I could sell you 20 acres for $10,000. I would keep probably $400 or $500 of that, and then the rest would just go to the land company and they'd give you the deed. Okay, I'm going to look into the details of that a little bit more if somebody's actually interested in that. But when I went in and paid off the land that I'm living on, it was no big deal. They're like, okay, here's the total. I brought them in a cashier's check from the bank, or a bank draft, or whatever they call it now. And I think it was a couple weeks, but the county then mailed me the deed for my property. Okay. So, and in talking to them, that's basically all it would be. If somebody wanted to buy it, what we would do, we would go into the office together. I'd bring you out here and show you the land. The 3 parcels that I would sell are facing the county road, and there is county power, electricity, at the county road. So a lot of my neighbors have figured out that if you build a house on the first 100 feet from the road, the county will put the first pole in for free for power. Or I forget if it's free, but it's very inexpensive. The second and subsequent poles are very expensive. But if you lived within a few feet of the road, the first pole is relatively inexpensive. So you could be hooked up to county power if you wanted to. All right. So that's an option. I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm not in the land selling business. I really hadn't planned on selling it, but I got to thinking about it. I'm like, well, I really don't need it. So there are 3 of those parcels available. They all 3 face the county road and county power. So that would be an option. Okay. Now, because of the time and blood, sweat, and tears that I've invested in the part that I'm living in, the option I was looking at is if somebody wanted to, you could buy the entire 80 acres, including the 20 that I'm living on. 100,000, I'd let you have it. I would take out of here the motorcycle and the truck, my cameras, my laptops. I'm looking around. I would probably walk away with that, right? So I'm just going to leave that out there. If somebody has the money and is interested in starting a life off grid, I've got solar systems working, I've got water systems working, I've got solar water heating working somewhat. There's the bus that's about 30 feet of livable space, plus the house, which is 12 by 36. It's not decorated or anything, but you could finish it however you wanted. And there you go. Yeah, I don't necessarily want to sell the land, but at this point, no reasonable offer would be refused. And there was a saying I heard one time, there's no holy cows, right? And I'm like, okay, I could find a new way to live, and this would give me another start. All right. Or if I sold the other 3 parcels, if I sold these, then my budget gets a whole lot better. All right. 340. Oh, I wanted to mention this because I mentioned if somebody wanted to buy one of the land parcels. It's about 8%, 8 or 9%, I think. It's pretty high. So one option that I didn't mention before, and this is actually how I got the land. I bought the land from somebody who, I don't know, I never really talked to them about their situation. I didn't really understand it until after I had made the purchase, but he just basically transferred the land to me, or the account to me, and I continued making payments. All right, so as far as I know, he walked away from it with nothing. He just, wasn't going to be able to make the payments anymore, and so I just took over. So the sign on the freeway, there's these big signs, land, 20 acres, $20,000, something like that. Or 19.5, zero money, zero money down, and then whatever the payment would be. So that's an option. If you decided you wanted to buy 20 acres, instead of it being $10,000, you could take over payments on one of those parcels. Okay, so that's an option. If you're interested in that, I can look it up and figure out the exact process. If you wanted to come out to El Paso, I could show you the land, and we go from there. So what I'm looking at is, okay, this is my total monthly budget. This is the money I need every month. So land payment is the big one, 340. If I was able to sell those 3 parcels, my budget gets a whole lot simpler.
Well, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, that should work. Cool. I do things differently. Oh, and please, if you like any of this, it would be really awesome if you could subscribe and click that notify bell. Drop a comment if you have any questions or ideas. Share, like, comment, subscribe, notify. Oh, and Patreon if you're really an awesome kind of person. Thank you so much for watching.